Alright, so what we have here today is going to be the DJI Air 3 drone. And since this channel is tailored for beginners, I will walk you through the entire setup process from unboxing the DJI Air 3 to the first flight. And at the end, we'll also be doing some simple flight tutorials so you can basically know the basic controls. And if you are in the United States, I will also guide you through the process of registering your drone on the FAA website. I will also show you where you can get your first trust license. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright, so we're going to first start by unboxing the box. So yeah, basically let's get to it. So you can see that this is actually an Amazon return item. And it does seems like everything has been sealed. So we did actually got it in a really cheap price. So let's just start opening it. Just cut it on the side lines. Alright, so basically this is going to be the case of it. Let's see. Oh, so everything was in here. Oh, that's pretty nice. Okay. Yeah, this does seem like completely a brand new item. Maybe not so brand new. I don't know how they actually determine this, but it does seem that it hasn't been opened yet. Okay. So the first thing you're going to probably get, the thing you always wanted to read first is going to be the manual, because if there's going to be something wrong, this is the thing you wanted to refer to. Okay, so we got a additional USB-C to USB-C cable. Okay, desiccants, not delicates. Okay, so you got like a full bag of spare props, which is pretty generous. Let's actually open it. I'll just bend it a little bit so it doesn't get into our view. Okay, so you're getting so many props. Yeah, I think these are going to be more than what you need. Okay, so because this one doesn't have props installed just yet, so yeah, but they are definitely going to be more than what you need. Okay, so since we got a Fly More combo, yes, it's going to come with a battery charger pack, which is pretty good. Okay, so probably you have to unlock the battery first based on what I'm reading right now, but we'll see. Okay, let's leave it aside right here. This makes me want to upgrade my desk. Okay, so RC2, much heavier compared to the previous RC. So let's see. Yeah, pretty clean. Dang, this does feel even better than the previous one. Okay, so let's put this thing on. Yeah, gimbal feels nice, as usual. And the last thing we are going to get from the box is going to be our DJI Air 3, and that's going to be the main point of this package. Let's open it. Ta-da! Okay, wow, the gimbal guard just actually fell off. Let me see. Okay, it's not that hard to remove this actually. Oh, but there's actually stuff in them. Okay, so we get two cameras. Yeah, this finally feels like a real working machine compared to the mini series. All right, so this is going to be something that we will be using heavily in our heuristic business. All right, so basically that's an unboxing part. Now let's put on some propellers and we should be ready to go. Okay, so now let's actually put up some propellers for the DJI Air 3. So you can see that basically on the package, it already has those kind of markings, which you will be able to just put them on so easy. All right, so you can see that there are little marks right here. So this is the one that doesn't have any marks. Okay, let me show it to you. No marks with marks. Okay, and this is the one that actually have marks. You can see that it has a little white color here, and this one has no color. And also the package also has this little indication, so it's pretty simple. You shouldn't you're never going to go wrong with that. All right, so let's basically open the package. These are definitely bigger than the previous ones. Okay, so the installation is going to be pretty simple. I think it's just going to be same as usual. All you have to do is to just like press it down. You're basically just going to be pressing it down and kind of turn it like this. Press it down, turn it, and that's it. That's the bulk of the installation. And that's why I like the Air series, because like the previous generation, like the ones I own, like with the Mini 3 Pro, like I just don't like to screw these screws. It's just so annoying. All right, so let's install another one. It's going to be same process. Okay. Okay, this goes here. Same as that one. Okay. All right, so all the props has been installed. Now we will be able to power this thing on, and let's basically continue the setup process. All right, so after we have installed the propellers, the next step, we're actually going to be activating these batteries. So the way of activation is you will have to plug in a USB-C cable basically to charge it up in order to activate it. So what you have to do, if you have the fly more kit, you will have a charging block like this, and the battery is supposed to be like it already inserted in this thing already. So what you have to do is basically just plug in a USB-C cable into it. Of course, the other side, you have to have like a charging block. You can use those kind of like bigger capacity charging blocks, so like not capacity, the bigger wattage. So if you have like a 65 watt to like 100 watts, it should all like basically charge these battery up faster. So for this charging block, you can plug them in any sequence. All you have to do is just plug it in, and it's going to charge one at a time. So that's about it. Not super hard, and you don't have to babysit them. You can just plug them in, plug in the cable, and then just probably sit right next to it or something. And you don't have to like monitor it as like you're monitoring a LiPo, because these are relatively safe in the sense. All right, so if you do not have the Flymore kit and you won't have the charging block, you will have to charge your batteries at the drone site. Since I only have one cable right now, I'm just going to be detaching it so we can just continue this tutorial. So you can see that at the drone site, there is going to be like a little plug right here. You can just basically open it. You'll see a USB-C cable, and what you have to do is plug in the USB-C cable, and then after a few seconds, it should be activating this battery to start charging. So this is also an activation requirement. You can see that the sticker right here. And since we're just doing it, let's just remove the sticker since it's done already. All right, so since the charging is going to take a while, let's actually start by looking at the remote control. You will have to set this thing up in order to like use it for the first time. We do have a little bit of power. I think it's supposed to be sufficient enough for us to get the setup complete. So the first time, you are going to be required to set everything up in this thing. Let's just wait for it to power it on. Okay, so welcome to the DJI RC2, and we're just going to pick next. English, software use, agree. These are things that you have to agree, otherwise you won't be able to use it. Country, region, United States. Okay, I'm just going to pick my little password. All right, so once you punch in the password, you're just going to hit connect, and then it should automatically be installed. Oh, okay, so for the time zone, obviously you're going to set it up like basically at whatever you're at. So, but for us, we're at Pacific time, so we're just going to hit connect. And then login, you will be required to log into your DJI account for the first time. So let me just speed this up. Okay, so once you have logged into your DJI account or you have registered it, you're going to have to activate this device under your account. So what you're going to do is just hit activate like that. Okay, so basically the rest is going to be the general setup. Swipe horizontally from edge to screen to return. Okay, so these are generally going to be your like basic setup functions that it should be like very identical to like if you have ever flown DJI before, it should always be identical. And we just hit skip because this is going to be too redundant. And then let me see, initialize resource data. Okay, so you're going to have to see a promote like that. We're just going to skip it. Okay, you're going to have to give it. And nope, not now. And basically that's it for the initial setup for the remote control. Okay, so first now let's actually, the drone should be charged up for a little bit. Now let's actually activate it just so we can like keep the tutorial going. Obviously you should always like charge your battery to the fullest and then activate it. That should be better for the battery, but for the sake of streamline of the setup, we're just going to be doing it. Okay, so we're going to press it down like that, remove the gimbal guard. Okay, and then we're going to power up, double press. It's going to power up the drone like this. So since we already activated, I doubt that there's something that we have to activate this thing again. You can see that basically we're getting footage already. Ooh, what the heck is going on? Okay. Okay, you do have to activate DJI device, so we're just going to agree. Okay, activation done, so it's under your name. So do we want it to have DJI Carefresh? Not now, not very interested. So dedicate official website. Okay. So we will have to be required to update our firmware. So we are just going to be updating. Okay, let's leave it aside for it to be completed. Okay, so the update has basically been completed and we're just basically waiting for it to like reboot up. Okay, so everything's super hot right now, so it's going to take about 10-12 minutes for your first initial update for everything. That just be prepared that this is something that you will need to know. Let's see, there's like question. Okay, I'm not going to do this. I think this is just a survey. Okay, so we now have the most updated firmware, and then let me see, do we have to repower it on? Okay, remote controller firmware is still initial installing, so I guess we still have to wait. So it's still not complete yet. This thing, it's taking like forever for you to like update for the first time, but after the first time it should probably be once like a few months. So yeah, something that should be okay. Yeah, so for the DJI items, you generally wanted to have the most update firmware because like FPV like excluded, but if you wanted to have those kind of like most update firmwares, you should be able to get like the most update supports and the bugs. You want them to be fixed, especially for these expensive machines. But for FPV, yeah, it's kind of like whatever works, just use that. All right, so I guess this is still going to take another while, so let's just probably speed it up. Okay, so for some reason, after the update, the connection between the radio RC and the aircraft is just lost. So I cannot find the aircraft right away. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to connect aircraft. You're going to click DJI Air 3, and you're going to basically have to power the drone up. And then we're going to hit the 1 and 2, and then you're going to hit continue. It should be start searching for the aircraft. So after a while, you're going to get this message. You're basically going to click that. Wait. So basically, it's going to give you instruction on how to repair these two together. So what we're going to do, press and hold the power button for 4 seconds until aircraft beeps. Okay, aircraft beeped. And then just basically going to see if we can repair it. Okay, so basically you can see that we're actually getting footage again. Okay, let me see. You're going to have to enable. Okay, so basically that's how you basically repair to like controllers if there's something just actually went wrong. Okay, so once the initial setup, once the initial updates, once the initial connection has been complete, we still have to do one more thing in order to fly this drone is over 249 grams. So regardless of you're using it commercially or recreationally, you will still have to go register this drone at the FAA website. All right, so basically I'm just going to be showing you how to do that. Okay, so to get the DJI Air 3 registered, we will have to come to the FAA website. So you're going to go to the particular FAA drone zone. So if you don't know where to go, I'm just going to basically put this link down below so you can just go like click it and just basically be directed right away to it. So once you are in here, you will have to register account if this is your first time, but it should be a like simple process. You just basically run through the paperwork. Based on time, I'm not going to demo it again. So for the account login, basically I'm just going to be logging in right away. Okay, and then agree, and then basically you're going to see the FAA Drone Zone service. If this is your first time doing this, you will have to add a service. But basically what you wanted to do as a drone owner and pilots, you're just to registration and waivers, whatever. That's the thing you wanted to use. So since we already have it, let's just click Launch Drone Operator and Pilot Dashboard. Okay, once we enter this place, what we have to do is basically you're going to hit Manage Device Inventory. If you do not have one, you have to add one, and basically it's going to ask you to pay about $5 or something for like a 5-year registration, so it's not a lot. Okay, so we are basically going to be coming here to register this drone. So does the drone broadcast FAA remote ID information? We're going to click yes because it does have remote ID. So this is a standard remote ID because it was built into it. Nickname, but just this is whatever you want. Nickname DJI Air 3. And UAS manufacturer is going to be DJI. UAS model Air 3. Remote ID serial number, this is the most important one. So to find the serial number, basically if you have the DJI Air 3, it's going to be just right here. This is going to be your number. Okay, it's a long ass number, so you better just make sure you type it right. Let me just double check. Okay, so once you have punched in the number, you can basically just press Add Device. And you're basically done with the registration. Okay, so once we have completely punched in the number, you're going to come to the previous page of the Recreation Flyer dashboard, and you are basically going to be printing this number on a little sticker, and you're going to basically stick it on your drone, and that's going to be your registration number. Okay, so that's about it for the setup. All right, so before you actually take this out to go test flight, I want to let you know, if you're planning to operate in the United States, even as recreationally, you still need a license, and that license is called Trust. So in order to get Trust, the easiest way is to go to the Pilot Institute website. You basically just going to click it, and if you don't know where to go, this link is also going to be down below for you to just go click directly. This is basically a recreational license for you to operate your drone. Like, it's going to be super easy to pass. It's completely free. You just have to go through the questionnaires. Like, you don't even have to study. Should be able to pass in one go. And then after you have this, obtain the certificate, you will be able to operate this drone legally in the United States as a recreational flyer. So after you get the Trust, and if you are like interested and eventually wanted to invest into a Part 107, you can still go to the Pilot Institute like drone courses. I still think that this is a pretty comprehensive class that I personally took as well. That is just to take you from step A to step Z, and basically, yeah, it's like all the stuff that you needed to know in a pretty detailed manner. So you basically understand fully why they're asking this question, not just by passing the test. So they are currently having Black Friday sale, so if you wanted to grab it right now, probably is the best time. All right, after this, let's finally go to the fun part. We're going to test fly this in the first time. All right, so we're switching the scene to my front yard, and this is going to be our first time test flying the DJI Air 3. So in this video, I'm basically just going to be showing you the basic controls and the basic app setting I always do on my DJI drones. All right, let's power this on and let's get going. All right, so let's first start by powering up the DJI Air 3. So what we have to do is we are going to be double pressing the power button, and you can see that this is basically going to be powering on. Another thing you have to do is make sure you unfold these propellers, just so it, yeah, when it starts spinning, it doesn't like hit itself, okay? So, all right, so that's done with that. Let's power up the controller. All right, so for the controller, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to double press the power button, and it's going to be powering up like that. All right, let's basically put the drone to our landing pad, and let's give it a go. Okay, so we're basically dropping the drone at our landing pad like that. It's very good to have a landing pad so you know that when it has to work, it can work. Okay, so once everything has been powered on, you're going to actually see the footage coming into your transmitting into your radio. But what we're actually going to be doing right now is we're actually be going into the settings so we can make sure our settings are correct. So the first thing I want you to make sure is the flight obstacle avoidance action. You wanted to set it up the default should be off, but you should wanted to set it up as brake or bypass. So basically what this does is when you're actually in brake mode, when it hits the when it goes to the object, it's actually going to be stopping. But if you put it on bypass, it's going to like try to like avoid the obstacle and go around of it. But since we're actually going to be demoing like really close to this camera, so based my cell phone, I'm just going to turn it off. Otherwise, you're just going to hear like it beeping like all the time. The next thing we're going to be setting up is going to be our return home altitude. So return home altitude, this thing, you wanted to set it up to be higher than whatever that is taller than the current building that is around you. So for us, like the return home altitude, I'm just going to set it at 196 because like we only have trees and we don't have a lot of tall buildings around here. So 100, actually 180 should be good. Yeah. All right, so once we're done, we should be able to start the takeoff process. All right, so to take off, you do have two options. You can either just hit the takeoff button right here. This is the automatical takeoff button. Actually, as you can see that it's actually giving the option for you to do it. Just have to tap it and it's going to take off automatically like that. But the other option that I usually like to do is just to take off by manually. So by manually take off, basically what you have to do is you're going to switch your stick's input inner like that. So you can see that the propeller has started spinning. And then we will be able to begin the takeoff process. Okay, we should be able to take off like that. Let me double check that I'm not hitting anything. Okay. Right, so to take off, all you needed to do is to bring your stick up. So you can see that the drone is right now floating up. Okay, so once you have taken off, here are going to be the basic controls. So as we have just talked about, this basically the left stick up and down is basically going to be your throttle. So you basically lower it to like lower the drone and you pull it up to pull up the drone, like very simple. And for the left right function right here is going to be yawing. So it's going to be called yaw. So you can see that if I turn it like that, the drone is going to be turning like that. And if I turn it like this, the drone is going to be turning like this. All right, so once we have finished the stick inputs on the left, let's talk about the right ones. So the right ones, the up and down is going to be pitch. Pitch forward and pitch backward. So basically go forward like that and come back like this. Okay, so since we do not have obstacle avoidance, I want to make sure I don't like hit it too hard and hit my camera. All right, so pitch forward, pitch backwards. For the left-right movement, this is actually going to be called roll. You can move like move right, and move left like that. So there's another control that I want you to know. So let's actually bring the drone a little bit closer to the camera so I can show it in ooh. Okay, let me just basically control like very gently. It's actually kind of creepy when it's like so close to the camera. Okay, so the next stuff we wanted to talk about is you do have the option to tilt your gimbals up and down. So you can see that you turn the little knob right here that your gimbal is going to be tilting down. If you turn it up like this, it's going to be tilting up. So you do have the angle to tilt up about 90 degrees and down below is going to be 90 degrees. So if you wanted to quickly switch between 90 and 0, because like if you think this is way too slow, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is just press this button right here. You can see that if you press it, the gimbal is going to be switching down right away. If you press up, the gimbal is going to be switching back. Okay, it seems like our drone is actually floating too close to us, so let me actually bring it a little bit further. So otherwise, I'm going to lose it. All right, so that is going to be the basic controls of the DJI drones. Like most of the drones are going to be the same like that. And especially when you're buying a DJI drone, the experience is just really easy. You don't really, there's not a lot of stuff that you need to worry about to fly it. So next, let's actually talk about the flight modes that is built in. So I think this is important for you to know. So for flight modes, you do have the cine mode, you do have the normal mode, and you do have the sport mode. So for the cine mode's normally referred to as tripod mode. So what it can do is basically your stick inputs, your RC rate is going to be the most dual, like most not sensitive. So you can do like really basically like precise control in this mode. So if you wanted to do like a really like sensitive move, like precise control, this is going to be the mode you want to be at. However, this mode is also going to be the slowest one that you're actually going to be having. And if you wanted to do like a slightly faster ones, you can switch it actually to normal mode. This is going to be the mode that you wanted to probably keep on for your most of your like flights if you're trying to do like a small like following people, that sort of thing. So yeah. same as city mode. All the controls are going to be same. It's just going to be the stick is going to be a slightly more like a little bit more sensitive in a sense. All right, so if you wanted to switch to the sport mode, this is going to make the difference. So the thing that you wanted to probably ensure is that sport mode is going to have your basically obstacle avoidance disabled. So you wanted to know this in case just to avoid crashes, because like sport modes is going to have the most fastest like speed, and you will be able to chase cars with this. However, just make sure you are aware that when you're turning to sport mode, your obstacle avoidance is going to be gone. So just to make sure that you're aware of this. So now let's actually play it on the screen so you can see it side by side comparison. We're going to have the cine mode. We're going to have the normal mode. We're going to have the sport mode. Okay, so you can see that obviously like each mode that you goes up, the faster the speed it goes, and when you go to sport mode, it's probably most agile and the most fastest. Yep. All right, so we are back to the bench, and I would say getting the DJI Air 3 setup in flight is just going to be a pretty simple and streamlined process, as most of the issue that you will potentially may run into when getting a drone has been eliminated by DJI. That is the package DJI is selling. It's not just only the drone, but also the user experience. So I guess this is a money well spent that, yeah, there's not a lot of hassle that you have to worry about. Anyway, in this video, it's just going to be a simple guide to show you how to set up the Air 3 and to get yourself in the air for the first time. But there are still a lot of functions of the Air 3 that we haven't discussed just yet. And that is going to be something that we will be covering in the future videos. So ensure to like and subscribe so you can stay tuned. All right, any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.